Hello, I'm Nolana, one of the Arch and Olive ambassadors for 2025-2026, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you how I set up one of the Songbird dated planners to help me with my weekly journaling practice. I'm excited to share this with you, and I'll be doing this either in a few weeks to a month in advance so that I am able to better keep up with my journaling practice. You're welcome to use code Nolana10 to shop any items for 10% off on the Arch and Olive website, and I will link in the blog everything that I've used. Thank you for watching today's video, and let's get right into it. So I kick things off with choosing to use this Kit Club subscription, New Beginnings, and I quite love the purples and blues and pinks, and I thought it would be perfect for the first week or two of the new year. So I chose a number set that would fit into the vertical columns, so the columns in this dated planner, and I'm just going to add those numbers in just a larger font to every column here using the raspberry ink. Now I really love this ink. It's a pretty kind of pinky purpley color, so perfect for this spread. And then I also decide later on to use the outline of this stamp with a lilac, and I really love that effect as well. So just massaging on the ink with the stamp block. I also have like a stamp press that I like using for that as well, and I'm continuing on to do the other numbers because this is this week 29 through to the 4th of January. So this was fun to use a legacy ink. It does not bleed through at all through the paper, so that was fun to note as well. I did check at some point while doing this project to be sure that everything is fine. Yep, and it's all good. And then I'm just using these numbers and being careful to simply place them in the right block, because that's always something that I am quite meticulous about when I am creating these layouts, simply because it's a doozy to have to reprint these stamps if you have them in the wrong spot. So just checking that out, and for the next few I'll simply do the 0 right across. That's a common number, and then I'll go in with the 1 to 4 later on. You'll see, or you may not, but I did I placed a 0 in the notes column by mistake, and I was able to cover it up with one of the stickers from the kit, so that was quite fun too. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm not one that needs to have a perfect stamp impression. I know some people love that. I love having a bit of variation. And so this is it all stamped out, and me adding in this hummingbird on top of the 0. So love how that turned out as well. And now I'm just gonna go in and do the outline alpha as well. I am using 29 again and starting things off like that and going across. I use this lilac, or I test out this kind of lilac-y shade that I have, but I end up using another one. And I've linked that in the supplies list in the blog for you. So I felt like this was a bit too light for what I was going for. So then I end up using this one, which I quite love how it turned out. And I like to have it a bit off of the edge so that there's a bit of a shadow type thing happening. And so I continue doing that throughout. And I feel like this really helps to bring the theme together doing this stamping like this. So quite love that look. Quite love it having a bit of a shadow just to add some interest to the stamping or the stamped images. And going in like that, like I really love this, and I feel like I'll continue a theme like this throughout the month of January, so that I can just have that similar theme happening in the first month of my journal. So using these washi strips to decorate a bit, I'm adding that across this lower level here, between the vertical columns and the horizontal bits. So just having that in there, and then just straightening it up a bit. And then I'm also going in on the other side with one of the other thinner pieces. I like that blue one with the hollow foil. I think that's pretty cute. The purple seems to be a bit wide for what I'm going for, but this will work quite well. Just popping that in. I'm also wondering whether to raise up the raise up the sticker, the hummingbird sticker, or have it placed over the sticker. So I raised it in the end and just kind of slid the sticker strip under it. And so that's that. And then I continue along with this layout. So just going in now and popping in this rectangle. And once I have that popped in there, I can go ahead and choose some of my other stickers. I love these florals, so I really enjoy using those. And then I am just going to go through and pop these in a few different spots throughout the layout. So just gonna do that for a while and choose a few of these. And yeah, once that's done, I kind of just like them fluttering all over the layout through it all. So that was quite fun to do. These are some really pretty watercolor florals. And then I feel like I want to use these frames in some way, form or fashion in the layout. So doing that like this a bit, or just shaking it down a bit so that I can still see the Thursday. So yeah, playing around with those a bit to see how I feel. And then I kind of like it at an angle. I think this is quite by mistake that I have it as an angle there. So I like how it looks, so I decided to leave that as is. And then I'm just gonna pop up this floral as well, and pop that under. So just gonna use some tacky glue and place it around that edges of the frame, and then adding that under this floral a bit, just to let the floral is just so pretty. I didn't want it to be hiding underneath, so just adding that there, and thinking I'll add this other one on this side for some interest. But I kind of am not really sure that I like seeing like the lines and the dots under this bigger frame, so I'm deciding to back it with some paper. So at first I'm thinking one of these papers from the kit, but then I decide to use just plain white copy paper so that I can use that image. I could probably even pop a photo in there or simply add some journaling. We'll see how we go. I think I'll probably pop like a family photo or something in there when I'm journaling the week. So just measuring this up to see what size of copy paper I will need to add in. And then once I have that, I will cut it down to size. It's about 2¼ inches by 3 inches. So that's, a pretty standard size, easy to work with. I'm just leaving a bit of overlap too, so that there is a bit of an edge when I have to glue the paper underneath the frame. So popping that in there, and then I'm going to use some tacky glue again and stick that behind and then onto the spot on the layout. So once I have that, I'm just gonna slowly put it in. I'm trying to get it as close to the inner part of the frame as possible, but also doing some on the outer so that it could stick to the page here without me having to add any extra glue or extra layer of glue, because I feel like, especially with copy paper, and sometimes there's some warping when there's too much glue added, so just trying to avoid that. And then I'm just gonna oops, whoopsie I just popped on. Luckily not much glue fell onto the paper there. Saved it, but then just lifting up this flower here and just being pretty careful this time around and popping that back on. And so this is pretty much what the layout looks like. I decided to add in this other foil. It has some holographic foil bits on it, which is quite pretty. And then I am simply going to eventually looking for other things that I could probably add during the week to my layout. So things like some of those tags might be really pretty to add in when I'm journaling and whatnot. So can't wait to create that during the week. But I love the stardust stickers happening there, and just looking to see what else I can add in, if anything at all. I decide though that I want to just kind of draw in some Happy New Year words into this frame, because that's the first, and I felt like it would be cute to add that in. So just doing some handwritten bits here, using some of the calligraphs, and I'm just writing that in, and then I choose some of the colors from the other side of the nib to simply add a bit of outline to it. So love how that comes out as well. That takes me a little bit of time. I do enjoy hand lettering. I am in no way an expert, but I love playing around with it and drawing with it. And I think for 2026, that'll be one of the fun things for me to play around with some more. I have done quite a few hand lettering, workshops and little e-classes and whatnot in the past, and I've quite enjoyed that. So I guess the more that I decide to do handwriting journaling, I also quite love typewritten journaling and just kind of printing out my journaling for my layouts, which is what I do most of the time with my scrapbooking. But I also love the opportunity to add my handwriting into my projects. So that's something that I look forward to doing some more of this year, and trying not to get too much hand fatigue when I'm writing too. That's something that happens. I'm not sure, like, is that something that happens for you too when you're journaling? I feel like I start off really neat and beautiful and tidy, and then it kind of just gets ziggy like throughout the middle to the end, which I hate. So I guess it's probably just a way to help me to slow down and just be a bit more present and patient with my journaling practice as I work through that component of it. So thank you so much for being here in today's video. I just want to take some time to
wish you the very best for 2026, and I am so excited for everything that you are going to experience this year. I hope that journaling helps you to be more present and more focused, and that you simply enjoy it all. So thank you so much for being here. Check out the blog post for more details, and I'll see you in the next video.